Well, I have this old CPU cooler just lying around. Not really sure what to do with it. Seems a shame to just put it on the shelf. You know, I really could go for a nice cup of hot coffee right now. Just water, it's not even hot. Thank you, lovely assistant, for the really hot coffee. Anyway, I wonder if there's something I could do with this Wait a minute. I bet I could use this cooler to cool off my coffee. Hey everyone, this is Chris with Overclockers Club. And yes, I know this falls into the category of why would you do that? Well, I've got an extra CPU cooler laying around, so why not use it for something, right? And I really don't like hot coffee, so I can match these two together and have a little fun. Now, obviously I can't just take the pump here, the bottom of the pump, and just stick it right in the coffee like you attach it to a CPU. So I'm going to have to make a little heat sink that attaches to this that will go down into the cup, and that is where the heat will be exchanged into the pump. And I'll have to use thermal paste just like you would on top of a CPU. The first thing I did was to grab a chunk of aluminum bar stock. This is 6061 T6, inch by 2 bar stock. I cut it at about 4.5 inches long there, and then I made sure that I machined the top surface here as smooth and flat as I could. You can see some thermal paste on there already where I did some test fitting. And I made these little brackets also out of 6061 T6, which is really not the best choice for something you're going to bend, because 6061, you can see down in here, maybe there are some cracks. These things almost broke off when I bent them. You really want to use something like a 3003 series for bending. It's a little more forgiving. So I went ahead and attached the brackets to the heat sink there, and then I took the bracket here from the cooler itself and I transferred the holes so that the holes would line up. Made sure I left enough of a gap so that when the screws tighten down against the bracket, they draw the pump down tightly against the surface here. And this is just a Kraken X31 CPU cooler, extra one I had sitting around. So time to whip out the old thermal camera and see what it looks like when we remove some heat from the coffee. So I went ahead and screwed the pump bracket down to the heat sink, and we will dip it in our simulated coffee. It's actually just really hot water. So we look at our really hot coffee, I mean water, and we're around 84, 85, 86 C, somewhere in that range. And then we'll look at the bottom of the heat sink there, which is around 30 C, give or take, 29, 30. And then we will come over here and look at the radiator, and that is around 29, 29.5 C. And now our pumping system has been placed into the hot water. And we will come over here and watch the radiator heat up. So we started out around 29, and you can see it is slowly moving up, because the heat is being transferred from the hot water to the aluminum heat sink up to the copper base plate of the pump, where the water is being circulated around that copper base plate on the pump, and it is now being circulated into the radiator, where the heat will be rejected to the room. And you can see we are slowly climbing up in temperature. Now the radiator actually has two chambers. You can see the bottom half is where the hot water is coming in, and it makes one pass all the way to the right, and then it comes up and back to the exit side, which should be a little cooler than the entrance side, and it is. So we'll let this go for a few minutes, and then we'll look at the temperature inside the cup again. We're about 5 minutes into it here, and we peaked at about 38 degrees C, a little over 38, and now we're slowly dropping. So you can definitely see the hot spot of the radiator where the Hot water is coming in at the bottom, traveling to the right, moving up, and then back left across the top where the exit side of the radiator is. And we're about 10 minutes into it, and we've dropped a few more degrees, so you can see there. Going back in, we're around 34 degrees C, and coming in, we're around 35. So we've got about a degree and a half drop. And now we will go ahead and pull the heat sink out of the water there, set it off to the side, and look at our temperature. Now you remember where we started, and we are considerably lower. So I would say we are successful at removing heat from our coffee. Certainly there are better ways to cool off your coffee or your hot water, but not as much fun as this. If you have an old CPU cooler lying around, you might be able to have as much fun as I did. This is Chris with Overclockers Club. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.